Yo, what is up, man? Today is the 5th of August, 2019, and I'm just here to go over my trades for the day. I've tried live streaming. It's really hard to pay attention to the market and live streaming all at the same time and talking and the whole thing, so I think it's easier for me to just do a review at the end of the day, and you'll be able to see kind of what I see anyway. If I do enough of these, I'm sure you'll get the idea. Here are my trades for today. These are all my fills, so if you want to go and see what these are actually like worth in terms of the difference. So BYND here, that was a 62% gain. Tesla was an 18% gain. NXST on close here today, I'm up like I think 4% last time I checked. We're still waiting on the market close. We got 3 more minutes, like 4 or 5% on that, but that's going to be a multi-week thing. I'll explain that later. First Apple trade here lost 20% or 27%, and the second Apple trade I made 10%. And yeah, so for these times, remember this is on Irish time. This is not American market time. So Irish time, market opens at 2:30 in the afternoon, closes at 9 p.m. Why all of my clocks are like this. Cool. So again, these are the fills, but I'm going to kind of walk you through each of them and kind of explain what I did. And what I'm going to do that is I'm going to show you both the option chart as well as the not option chart. So the underlying chart, so the stock chart, as well as the option chart, so you can kind of see what exactly I'm looking at. Yeah, and that's basically the idea. Cool. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Sorry, computer's running a little bit slow. So what we'll do is we'll start with BYND. So BYND, for this bad boy, when I started the day, I was looking at it to the downside. Reason being for that is that we've basically got room down here towards 158. Also, everyone knows this thing is way overinflated. It's not actually worth anything like this. I think the market cap of this one food company is greater than every single food company's market cap combined. Right? It's ridiculous. It's just a Momo play. That doesn't mean we don't take it long, doesn't mean we don't take it short. So I was waiting for a failure here for a flush, but what I saw is on the, let me see, call what I got filled here at. It was the, oh, it doesn't show what my, sorry, so I showed you this, but this doesn't actually show you what contracts I took. Pretty irritating. You'll be able to figure out which one it was based on the time of entry and stuff. I'll kind of explain it to you. So BYND, I was watching it this morning and had a huge order go through for I think like 400K or something ridiculous like that for 185s. So I'm just going to copy this real quick and then you can kind of see what I mean. So what happened was when the market opened, we were trading kind of in this little range. So we're going to go down to the 5-minute just so you can kind of really see what I'm talking about here. So when the market opened, we weren't really doing much, right? We were just kind of sitting around in this area and nothing was really happening. So I was kind of waiting for a flush down here towards lows. But what I saw happen instead is, come over here to this. I'm going to go to this on the 5-minute here. Do you see how in the history of this option, there is no volume whatsoever? No volume, no volume. And when there is volume, what happens? You get a bit of a pop, right? So I saw, yeah, so it was over 1,000 contracts. So I think it was 400K. I can't be sure, but anyway, so this huge volume bar come through on my option flow. I came over, I checked it out. Everything else, the market was tanking, but this thing, like I showed you, was just chopping around here in this area. So what I did was, and this is what I like to do sometimes if I like the direction, I saw kind of a double bottom here, and I thought, you know what, if someone's coming in with 400 grand, right, thinking that this thing is going to hit, so it was trading down here, right, came through for the 185s. 185's way up here, right? This thing is $15 out of the money, expiring this week. High risk trade. So this dude put 400 grand on it. What does he know that I don't? Probably something about the company. You know what I mean? Like he knows something. He knows what's going on. And so when I saw that order come through, I kind of waited and I started getting filled down in around this area. This 198 was my fill. And then I just kind of waited. And so I got it at 198. I said, okay, I'll set my stop at the low of 150 underneath here, or if it breaks beneath these lows here, whichever comes first. Because when you see volume like this, you generally get a push. If you don't get a push straight away, you're probably not going to get a push at all, right? So took it at 198. All of a sudden, boom, this thing shoots up. Crazy, crazy huge. I think if you take it from where this guy, so this guy, his worst fill was $2, and this thing went all the way up to 360. So he had a pretty good day, man, if he sold any of that on this move up. But so I was trading it, saw it come into here, into this area, and I decided to go ahead and get out because what do we know? Stocks trade from supply to demand, right? And then they get rejected back to supply, back up to demand, back to supply, demand, supply, demand, so on and so forth. You kind of know the drill. So that was my first BYND trade, right? Literally the only thing that made me take that thing was huge volume, 400 grand on a way ridiculous bet that nobody in their right mind would make because the market was down like 600 points, right? And it was just getting thrashed, right? The thing was just dumping. It was an infinite dump on basically everything except for this stock. And then somebody comes through with this ridiculous call. That's why I got in. And then I just let it run and then took my profits up in this area here. So that was a 62% gain, which was really, really sick coming in after last week when basically everybody and their mother got like, the end of last week was a rough one for a lot of people, including myself. So it was nice to kind of get that 62% gain right off the bat. So that's the first one. Next one was Tesla. Tesla. So when I took this trade, Tesla, it was at 330, right? 330. So it was kind of in the middle of this candle here. At the point in time, I believe the candle was trading. We'll go into the 5 minutes so you have a better idea. So at 330 here. So it was kind of up in this area when I took this trade, right? And the reason I took this trade is that we go on the daily chart. What do we see? Right? Underneath here, we've got room down, and if we crack beneath, if we close beneath 224, we've probably got room down to 189, right? We got a lot of space on Tesla, so it was just a good one. And then what else happened? Well, if we check what happened to these Tesla options, it was something like the 217.5s, I want to say. Let's see. Sorry, it's kind of tough for me to. I wish I knew how to see which ones I got filled on. So it's 217.5 puts, right? What did I see on these 217.5 puts? So again, no volume back here, a little bit of volume, and what does it do? It pops up, volume here, right? So, and that's probably them just selling off of this initial burst of volume, which is probably all that is. It's the same amount, right? But boom. So we come to the open, and then first thing on today's open, if we ignore all this, right? Let's pretend we don't know any of that. What do we see? First thing, boom, we have that's 1,000 contracts that got filled here at $2. So that's 2,000 times 100. So that's 200K. That was the first sweep, right? But 200K wouldn't be enough to make me jump in immediately to anything, right? Like it's just not. Because we're talking about anything over basically 400 to 500 grand, and if it's in the millions, then we're really talking. But these are the same thing. So it's this week's expiry 217.5s. We got our first bunch here, right? And then boom, we had another huge candle here, right? So that's over 1,000 again. Hey, interesting. But I'm still not in at this point, right? Wait a second. What is this? It's another huge candle. So now what we've got, man, is that it's 305. We have seen huge interest in these Tesla puts, right? So I'm keeping an eye on that, waiting for my alerts. And then I think which one was it? I think I saw. I think it was this one here. I think on the third time, when I saw this for the third time come in with over 1,000 contracts, right? So remember, so that's 200K. Probably 300K, 200K, maybe 150K, 200K on things that expire at the end of this week, right? And 217.5, Adam, is way down here, right? So this thing is like $15 again, out of the money. It's just a risky bet. Could it pay off? Definitely. Do you know that for a fact? Absolutely not, right? So anyway, so 2:30 is when I got in, or 3:30. Yes, right before 3:30. So I got in on this candle here. I got my fill at 209. Or sorry, I got my fill at 212, right? So again, what that is here. 212 is my fill at 327, right? So 327 is somewhere inside this candle, 12, right? And the reason I got in is because of all this option flow. Then what happened? It pops, and it pops again. You know what you see what I'm saying, right? We get volume here, we get a push, right? We get volume here, right? That volume's pretty late, to be honest, though. Like, I wouldn't. Whatever. Point is, volume here, push, volume here on this first one, still get a push, right? Get the pullback. Volume comes in again on that pullback. This 2 area is just looking sick. This is where everyone is picking up their shares, right? And if I know for a fact that the institutional guy is getting an average of, let's say, $2 or 130 or whatever, I want to get in as close to his average as I can, because then I can manage my trade the way he is, right? But anyway, so when did I get out? So I got in at 212, out at 258 at 342. So I'm still holding into this candle here, and somewhere in this candle I got out for a fill up here at 258, right? So I got in down here, took it off with that first fill, and then we got to push right back down, right? And that's the other thing you have to remember with these options, right? Sometimes they go to the moon, but for the most part, that first huge push is going to be your best chance to take it off, because the theta is just going to reduce the value of your option in the first place, right? So again, that was an 18% gain here on this, just trading with the option flow. Apple was a fun one today. I took it twice. I'm just going to go ahead and clear that draw and set. I wasn't really using those. Took it twice. All right. So first time I took it was so I saw him come across on the 200s. I think I took the 202.50s the first time, and the 200s the second time, excuse me. Took the 200s the second time, 202.50s the first time. But we'll start with the 200s, right? So I remember, right, like when I'm trading and I'm looking at these sweeps, I have this up on another screen, right? Like I keep an eye on the option charts, right? So let's see what we're looking at here, because I know exactly where I was looking at things. So we have this thing coming down and down and down and down, right? And so for me, I think, where was it? I think it was this one. Yeah. So my first entry was when I saw this. So this was like, let me show you the math on this so you kind of see how I like the value of this one play, right? So this is a 5-minute chart. Let's go to a 1-minute chart so that we know that this is literally only one single order, right? So we know this is one single order here, right? So this guy right here, one single order, basically got filled at an average of 137, right, for 3,500. Okay, so we have 3,500, right, contracts filled at $1.37, right, times 100, because each contract is worth 100, or each contract is worth 100 shares. This dude put 480 grand into a stock that, so remember, this is at 1630. So where is 1630? This is 1630, right? So this dude at this point in time took a stock that was just kind of going down over and over and over again, right? He put almost 500 grand into saying that it was actually going to go all the way up to 200 by the end of this week. Could it? Maybe. But does that seem likely? No. So that means that he must know something that we don't, right? So I took it with him here, and I basically let it pop up. I traded the option, the 202.5s, but I was kind of watching this because this is where the people were in. Let it go up. When it came back down and broke through the lows, I got out. I think it was when it broke through these lows. Yeah, the lows on this chart here. I went ahead and got out, and I was like, you know what? I'm not really very much interested. Then what happened was, go to my daily. An important level that I had been watching was this one. kind of 94, or sorry, 193.15. I think this was closer to 190. I think this was closer to 194 when I was looking at it. But anyway, but this was the level I was looking at, right? And then so we got a daily support right there, right? Go to the 4 hour. We've got a really, really nice support right here, right? So I was anticipating we get a nice bounce. And then when I looked at this chart, I said, okay, he took the 200s. Up there makes sense. We could probably see something probably up towards 196, 197. It didn't end up happening, but that's what I was thinking. So what I did was on these 200s, I got back in. Show you what time I got filled. See, so Apple, and we're going to go over this NXST separately here in a second. But anyway, Apple, right? So fill 106, right? So I think I got filled on this push down. Went ahead and took an order, and I let it go down, and I had my stop set at 90 cents, right? So took it at 106, risking 16 cents on this trade. But I was confident because of all the different levels that were right there in the same area. And then what happens? I can switch over to 15-minute chart, right? So I took it coming into this kind of 106 level here, so around 1750. So what happened at 1750? That was in the middle of this big candle. And what happened right after that? Big old push. So I held through this, and then once it stopped, it broke under, then it went all the way back up and it started coming back down. I went ahead and got out, and that's why it's a 10% gain there. So that's cool. And then the last trade that I took, NXST. This one is actually kind of interesting. This is my first time trying this trading tactic, so we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty hopeful. Where I just blindly follow like ridiculously unbelievable call and put buy-in. So this thing basically gap down. Bad news, might have been earnings. Not totally sure, don't really care, right? Gap down, came down, and if we take a look at this NXST on the option side, the November, what was it? November 120. Copy. Paste. Cool. So the November 120s. Monday. What do we see? 10,000 contracts come through, filling at a price of 155. I'm pretty sure that means that this dude, if I remember correctly, this dude put like a couple, like he put over $1 million. I think it was 1.3 million bet that this stock, which is gapped all the way down here, and it looks to me to be basically in a downtrend, right? Downtrend this way, right? He says it's actually going to be back at highs by November. Really? Tell me more, man. Tell me more. You're going to put over $1 million on that, right? And remember, Adam, if he's wrong, this thing expires worthless. Can he get out early for a profit and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, he can trade around. He can manage his trade. But theoretically, right, or hypothetically, if this thing doesn't close over this in November, he will lose $1 million. Would you risk $1 million if you think this thing is going to keep tanking? Unlikely. Probably not. So when I saw him take that trade, I put out an order to get a fill at 140. I think this is my fill here at 350. Check to be sure. Let's see. NXST. Yeah, 418. Yeah, so this is my fill here. 140. Isn't that cool? You can see where I got filled. Because guess how many contracts are traded? One. My one contract. Only one contract because I have. This is just seems like a ridiculous trade to me, right? Anyway, so I got filled 140. And I'm going to hold that for next day or two or three and kind of just see what comes of it, right? There's obviously no volume in this option, right? So this dude positioned himself exceptionally early, right? In order to hopefully we'll see some sort of move up over the next couple days. If we get to move up to 100 or 102 even on the option, that could be worth a tremendous amount. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, let me double check to make sure I'm giving you the right value for what that close was. Let's see, and by the way, for that CCAS, I'm still in it. I'm down 77%. So that's fucked, but that's okay. Well, we won't worry about that. Yeah, so closing up 7% right now, up 7% on that NXST position. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But yeah, so that's today's trades. Don't really know what else to tell you about anything. Only thing really is that we're obviously in a lot of trouble, right? So actually, let's just do it on this one because then we don't have all the lines. You can see. Look at this chart for today. The SPY just shot all day long, but it was orderly selling. You don't see any huge dumps, right? It's fairly orderly selling the whole way down, which makes me think that we're probably going to get a bounce here soon. I don't know when. The bounces are generally pretty aggressive recently. Ever since those algorithms have started coming in, these deep V bounces, right? They're pretty horrific. Like it used to be come down, double bottom, come up, but these V bounces are insane. You never really know what direction to go. Like look at this, right? Like if we look at this on a weekly chart, right? In basically 1 week, right? It says 2 weeks, but this is only Monday, right? In 1 week, right? We have given back the gains of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 weeks of work. Wow. Crazy. Tons of opportunity here. Do I think it's going to keep going down? Maybe. Not really sure. It's got room down to probably 278. If we close beneath 278, we're in some trouble. We'll probably see the 260s. So on the SPY anyway. So we'll kind of see how it all goes. But yeah, man, that's my my trades for today. So pretty good day for me. Up a couple $100 by the end of it. Still working my way out of a hole from the end of last week, but you know what are you gonna do? It is the way it is. Who could have seen this tremendous drop? No one really saw this coming. So some people got really lucky on their puts, super lucky, which is awesome, which is totally dope. Like think about it like this, right? Amazon last week was a $2,000 stock. It is now a $1,750. Yeah, look at that, man. Yuck. But anyway, all right, man. Any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, good luck. Have a great rest of your day and tomorrow, and I will chat with you again tomorrow afternoon/evening. Like I said, I'm not going to do the live streams. I'm just going to do it like this because it's less distracting for me, and with market this volatile where the market structure is absolutely just fucked, I think it's best that I focus when I'm on the clock. But anyway, cheers, man. Have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.